Well, good afternoon. It's Tuesday, and I think it's October the 9th. But it's raining, and it's just yucky here in Bridgeport, Texas. So, instead of doing the things that I really need to be doing around the RV, I thought I would come on here and talk to you guys. I'm diabetic, as a lot of you know. And here lately, I have been seeing this recipe for a grilled cheese that you use zucchini to make the sandwich with. And for those of you that are diabetic, I'm not going to say zucchini and cauliflower and spaghetti squash aren't great alternatives for carby kind of foods that we love. But sometimes it's kind of like trying to trick yourself into believing that you can make zucchini taste like raisin bread. Not so much. But it's still pretty good. So I thought that today I would try that recipe. If you'd like to find out more about our life here in the RV, you can look for us on the big old interweb at rvlife.me. It's real simple. You can remember that. You can find out a little bit more about me and Ken, and us living in our RV. Sometimes Speed Bump the Wonder Dog, he might make a post or two. I put some recipes up sometimes. I send pictures of what it's like living here at the campground. Staying at the campground. We love the campground. It's a great place to be. Lots of swell folks. Anyway, back to our show, and I'm going to make a zucchini grilled cheese sandwiches. Did you notice that I said sandwiches? Maybe I plan on eating more than one. Here we go. We're going to try doing this zucchini grilled cheese today. But before I get started, I wanted to tell you some stuff. I grate my zucchini. My best bud, Betty, over in Tunnel Hill, Georgia, she sent me, what do you call it? It's a spiralizer, electric spiralizer. It's a Hamilton Beach. Let me see it. There you go. Anyway, it's got 3 plates. There's 2 kinds of spirals. One of them you can do just the spirals like spaghetti. And then there's one that you can do the flat wide ones, like if you want to do a lasagna. And then there's this one that does the grating. And I love all of them. They're great. I had one of the little hand operated ones that you stick it in and turn it to make it spiralize. And that works okay, but you sure get tired of doing that. So I want to give her a shout out because she thought of me when she saw me do that. She came out to visit me and she told me she'd never had zucchini before, and I had to dazzle her with zucchini spaghetti that was made like $1 million spaghetti. She liked it. At least she told me she did. I didn't try to make her starve while she was here. That was last year before last. Anyway, so I used that to not spiralize, but the grater to grate my zucchini. And in this recipe, I'll list it so you'll have the exact recipe. But you use 2 cups of grated zucchini. You're supposed to use 2 green onions. I kind of did 3 or 4 because I like green onions. You use a 1/2 cup of parmesan cheese. You have 1 egg. And a 1/4 cup of, what do you call this stuff? Cornstarch. We're going to mix it all up. And apparently this will make, they said, 3 to 4 servings. So I assume that's supposed to be 6 to 8 slices, like bread slices, because you got a top and your bottom. I'm gonna make it all up, but I'm gonna freeze what I don't use. I'm going to mix it up and I'm going to freeze it. But I had this brilliant idea only because I saw something else. There was another recipe I looked at that you used almond flour, and I can't remember what else it was, but you made a bread, an actual bread. And the person, or the video that I watched, they had one of these little sandwich keepers, because you bake this in the microwave. And I thought I would take the remainder and I would put it, I bought, I don't know, 3 of them. They were $1 General. They had them on sale. I think they were 75 cents a piece. But I thought, well, I'll form it in here and freeze it, and that way, if later on I want a sandwich, I can just plop it out of here into the frying pan and fry it up and make my sandwich. So, anyway, that's just my idea. I may fall completely flat on my face and it not work, but we're going to get to this. I'm going to take this, and you know what I noticed about the grating is that it was actually, it's not really grated. It's long like angel hair pasta. So what I think I'm going to do is take my handy dandy scissors and I'm going to cut it up just like so. I'm sure it'll mix up better and it, you know, work a little bit better for us. It's like my salad choppers. Okay. Alright, we're going to throw our however many green onions. You're supposed to use salt, pepper to taste. Here in Texas we use Serendipity seasoned salt. If you go to Chicken Express, they have little packets of Serendipity seasoned salt. It's made here in Texas. It tastes better than regular Lowry's. I love it. So I put like a tablespoon maybe of that in here. Here's our egg and our Parmesan cheese. And our, whatever this, cornstarch. Why can't I remember that? And we're going to put that in there. Let's get a fork. And mix this up. I can't get over this weather. You know, we were dry as a bone this year. The grass was beginning to die. The trees were beginning to die. It was horrible. And if this is any indication of what our winter's going to be like, because, you know, we just don't have bad winters here. But this has the potential, if it keeps on this winter, for us to be kind of wet, and if it gets as cold as it did last year. Ugly. I have a 3-burner gas stove here in the RV, and my oven, which pretty much I don't use either one. I use my microwave. We have a wood pellet grill outside that I bake everything in. If I want pizza, I bake that in there. If Ken wants biscuits, I fix those out there. I've got 2 smaller, the half-size griddles that are outside too. So most of the time, if I cook a big breakfast or something, I cook it outside if the weather permits. And I ended up getting an induction hot plate. And I love that thing. I use it all the time. The only thing I have to watch is, of course, we're on a 50 amp out here. But when I plug it in, you know, I think it's 1,000 watt. So sometimes I dial it down just simply because of the circuit that I'm on here in the kitchen. It'll run it fine, but it just, you know, I don't want it using that much power, because if I happen to turn something on, it might throw the breaker. So, we've got this all stirred up. I'm going to pause for a minute, and I'm going to get the hot plate out, and we're going to fry one of these up and see what happens. Hold on. Okay, I put the zucchini in this little thing to mold it. I don't know whether it's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. I put olive oil in the skillet. This cooktop makes a noise. It's a fan that runs, so. And I've set it to 700 watts on the power. You can set that, and you can set the temperature. I don't think I want it to be 320. How about 280? I might bump the power up just a little bit, maybe 800. To get it frying, to see what happens here, now once these get fried, you set them aside on a plate and kind of let them drain a little bit. And then you put your cheese on it, or you put them back in the skillet, put cheese on them, and let the cheese melt. And I guess you could use whatever kind of cheese you want. I use a blend. Let me find it. What I've got is let me turn it the other way. It's a finely shredded, reduced fat, mild cheddar cheese. And I got this at Butcher's. Well, it's getting brown. Let's see if I can flip it over. I'm glad I'm not doing this live. I might have to turn it down a little bit. But we're going to let this fry. When it's done, I'll be back with you. Okay, so this is what I found out. Have you ever seen the little piggy fail on Pinterest? You know, where they tried to make the little dinner rolls that look like piggies, and they came out looking more like, I don't know, something from a horror movie. Well, that's kind of the way the first one that I made went. So I found out that what I'm going to have to do when I make these in the future, and this is what I've done, I poured off all the liquid that was on it because it was entirely too much liquid. I added another egg, so it was 2 eggs. And I added some more cornstarch, which is to replace that I poured off because of the liquid. And the other thing I found out is that when you put them in the skillet like this, you have to really pat them down to where they're thinner. Because of the egg that's in them, they'll swell up. So they work a lot better if you kind of pat it down like this to let it fry. But they do, I've tasted them and they're delicious. So when these are done, I'll show you. This is what the one piece look like. Doesn't it look good? Anyway, when we're done with these, I'll post a picture of, or I'll get back on and I'll show you exactly what they look like with the cheese on in my actual review and taste test. So I know that you're so excited about this, and I hope you hang around. So anyway, be back in a little bit. Well, food fans, here you go. Here's our, can you see? Here's our zucchini grilled cheese. It smells really, really good. It's not going to be something that you can pick up and eat like a bread sandwich. I mean, not without getting, you know, really, really messy. And the cheese. But let's see here. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, For an alternative, I would give it a 6. The onions, the serendipity, and the cheese kind of bring out the flavor, and it's not like you're eating a green bean sandwich. I mean, the zucchini has taken on the taste of the seasoning, and maybe, you know, it's really hot now, but maybe when it cools a little bit, it would be more firm. That was the trouble with the first one I made. It was really, really soft. Can you see? The idea is to get it really brown and cook through and through so that the egg will bind and cook. But it's, all in all, I'd do it again. I'd eat them again. So, there you go. That's my review. I want to thank everybody. Those of you, I say everybody like I had, you know, an audience full of people. But all of you who stuck with me to watch this first video from the Casa de Wheelie, next time maybe we can do something a little more decadent, like maybe I read one yesterday, in fact. It was a cheesecake, a mug cheesecake that was keto, low carb. So we'll try that next time. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.